Hey, this is Steve, and you're about to watch an impromptu therapy walk that I did today. But before we get to that video, remember as always to like, share, subscribe, hit up my Patreon. I'm always putting new stuff there to thank you for helping me out. The link to that is in the description, as well as the links to my Instagram and Facebook pages related to the content I produce on my channel. All that said, no more screwing around. Let's get to today's video.
Steve the Amateur Historian.
It's in here. Please tell me it's in here. Yes. Hi everybody, Steve the Amateur Historian, and I just got off work a tidbit early, and it's an impromptu vlog, so you're welcome. I'm just gonna went and bought some sunscreen because, well, it's 80 out there, and I'm a Portlander, and don't take a lot to fry Portlander skin, so just clocked out. I'm just getting my body ready for the, and I'm gonna walk around kind of the general neighborhood around here, not straying too far, because I do need to eventually make my way back to a max. But yeah, I'm just gonna walk around a little bit. I actually have a few things that I want to kind of pass by, and you know, stuff that's going on that I haven't covered in recent vlogs. So yeah, let's go do this. Oh, that's the stuff. Actual solid support. And why did I start with a clip of my feet? Well, I have a foot fetish. Now you know one of my deepest, darkest secrets. In all seriousness, no, it's just because weak support has been the story of my day. The shoes I have for work, they're fine. I just need to get a better support. Or better supports. What is that? It's the loudest, like, electrical bicycle in the world. Guy's like almost a block away, and his sound of his bike is still echoing off the walls of my work behind me. But no, so my so that's about an hour of work. My feet start hurting, goes to my ankles, goes to my knees, and into my back. And by the end of the workday, I was just, I mean, the last like 2 hours, I was really not feeling great. So against other, what might be common sense to some, which is go home and rest yourself, I was like, I know it's the support, and I know that my shoes, the reason why I bought this same exact type of shoe twice over is because it lasts forever and the support is amazing, at least for me. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna throw those shoes on. And what is with the loud bikes? It hits 80 degrees in Portland and people start losing it, as I was trying to say. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna throw my shoes that I know have good support on, and I am going to go on a bit of an impromptu therapy walk, which was, my desire to do that was further bolstered by the fact that I was able to get off work a half hour early. I mean, I didn't really, I did get off a half hour early, and I didn't, because essentially it was like, you know, I only worked like I was gonna work about 6.5 hours, and over 6 hours you have to legally take a break. So we just decided to have me get off after 6 hours. Like, I was gonna be off for 30 minutes one way or another, and I just didn't take my half. I guess you could say I'm taking my half right now. And as I think I've mentioned before on my channel, I don't really get hungry till like midday, and we're just now getting to that point. And hey, you get to see the area that I walk home through, usually in the dark, in the daytime. I have a series that I'm doing on my other channel, Steve from Oregon, And I vlog as I walk home from work, and I walk through this area almost exclusively going home, and usually there's at least one weird thing that happens. But anyway, so I'm just gonna do a little therapy walk in the area, because there's actually, despite the fact that I've worked here for many, many years, there's a lot of places around here that I haven't really seen. And already, like, obviously my feet are still kind of sore, but already I feel substantially better in my leg region, just having switched into shoes with proper support. So first things first, I'm gonna go up through here, cut through this little side street to 92nd, and I'm gonna pay a visit to a place that was fairly significant to my childhood. Maybe it's not as much as it was to other kids, but it is now a dead Portland memory because it closed up, I think, several months back. Approaching 92nd Avenue and 91st Place, which 91st Place is what I'm on, to check out this dead memory. And credit to this reminder goes to another vlogger extraordinaire, Klersky the Creeper, another local vlogger extraordinaire in the Portland area like me. There's always a TV left behind. Anyway, so just to give you a time and place, because I don't know exactly when I'm posting this, it's May 15th today. Yesterday, May 14th, he posted a video where he visited this spot, and it reminded me that I, like a little while back, was actually gonna get some video of this, and I ended up not. So a shout out, thank you for God, everyone's engine has to be just so damn loud these days. Anyway, a thank you and a shout out to Klersky the Creeper for reminding me of this. This here is the now closed down Chuck E. Cheese at 92nd and Powell. See, there's the outline of Chuck E. Cheese's head, but there's nothing there. It's just a skeleton. It's been all fenced off because there's a lot of sketchy people that hang out around here, and there's a lot of homeless people that hang out over here. So probably trying to keep the ooh, TV tray. God, has this thing been in a fire, or was it just? That's an old school TV tray too. I love TV trays. They're so 70s and 80s. But yeah, so I was coming down here. I was going to shoot some video of this place. And from this area over here, a rather dapper dressed homeless guy who I think probably had, some mental issues, starts coming towards me, and he stops really close to me. So I realized pretty quickly that this guy's only come over here because I'm in the area. Understandably, I got a little uncomfortable, and I just decided to politely, casually, and calmly just walk away. Like, really? Nobody cares. Do you see anybody woo-hooing you for that jackassery right there? Oh, sorry, I thought I was filming the opposite direction. So anyway, here's the Chuck E. Cheese, all fenced off. You can just see this place hasn't been painted in many a long time because it's all faded. And there's a McDonald's over here. Look at all this space that's going completely unused. And there was the old, like one of the oldest McDonald's still standing. They had the building right up there, but they demolished it because they just had to put the new McDonald's right there. With all of this parking that nobody uses, like this parking lot never has anybody in it. They could have built this a little bit bigger. They could have like put an enclosure around it and kept it here for historical purposes. But no, they demolished it because they're McDonald's and they don't give a shit. By the way, kudos to the McDonald's employees for standing up that started on Friday, them striking. Anyway, here's the front of the old place. Looks like some people have hopped the fence and marked it up a little bit, but not too much. And yeah, you can't really get too close to it. I don't think they want you to get too close to it. You can even tell, like, this part of the parking lot, like, this is specifically like the Chuck E. Cheese part of the lot, and everything is kind of getting overgrown. It obviously hasn't been used for a while. Whereas, you know, the McDonald's one is a lot cleaner. And no creepers following me around, except those guys in that truck just gave me a look like they wanted to abduct me and throw me into the back of their truck. Not here for you, buddies. Yeah, so during that brief period of my life where I actually wanted to go places for my birthday, I was always more or less like a stay-at-home, throw a big party, be nice and lazy, have like a sleepover type guy. But I remember for my 8th birthday, I had it here at this Chuck E. Cheese. And I recently found, you know, it's all kind of faded, but I found like a little card that they gave me that said like, oh, thank you for celebrating your 8th birthday with us. That would have been November 18th, 1993. So, quite a while ago. And yeah, I have vague memories. Like, I remember being in like the big party room with all the animatronic animals. And at one time they were like, let's say happy birthday to Steve. And I was like, oh my God, they're talking about me. And yeah, I don't think I've been inside this Chuck E. Cheese since like, I don't even know. You can kind of see in there a little bit. You can see those are just a bunch of benches and stuff. Not much to see because you can't get very close. Look at the state of this old sign. What is this for? Is this, oh, private parking only. I thought it was gonna be something a little bit more entertaining than that. But yeah, this is it, the old Chuck E. Cheese. And a lot of these people are probably like, what is this guy doing? He's just like staring at this boarded up building. You know, you people don't get it. That's the problem. You don't get it. Get in your car and get the hell out of here. I'll miss you, Chuck, and your waving hand. So, I came back, I showed it to you, and we're on our way. So I'm thinking I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna keep going south on 92nd. Head on up towards Holgate, which is the next kind of busy street. Go through there. There's some stretches through there I haven't really been through before. And, you know, I'm just gonna just kind of go where the wind carries me. Swell. More of these ugly ass things filling up our neighborhoods, eradicating semi-affordable properties for these ugly things that they're gonna try to sell for like $500,000. Wonder what was here. I don't really remember. I don't really walk through here that often, but yeah, cram a bunch of units in, make a bunch of money. With every one of these things that comes into, you know, this city, it just bit by bit makes it even more and more expensive to live here, and it eradicates affordable properties at the same time. I feel like those aren't happening. I feel like the development in Portland is quelled a little bit, but that also could be the fact that I haven't really been out much the past like 14, 15 months. But I want to say that there's been some slowing on that, and I hope that's the case, because eventually that's all that's going to be left in this city, and they've already destroyed so much amazing history out of pure greed. You know, you got these people that are just like, well, they bought it, it's their land, they can do what they want. It's like, yeah, no shit. But it's like, you know, actions bring consequences. If you have the right to do whatever you want with your property and you choose to do something shitty like that, I'm gonna give you crap for it. And most of the people that are like that, like, oh, well, it's their property, they do what they want, those are exactly the kind of people that bitch and moan about things that mean absolutely nothing. It's like, oh, well, why did it happen? I'm gonna have to wear a mask in this store? The CDC said I don't have to wear a mask anymore. Why are you making me wear a mask? Well, we're a privately owned business and that's the rules. Yeah, but they said we don't have to anymore. Doesn't matter. This is my business. I make the rules. Yeah, but what about freedom? You know, people that you do just round and round conversations with because they don't get it. So yeah, I am obviously a fan of historical architecture, and if a building is just crumbling to pieces and nobody wants it for anything, and it's lost any and all historical value, and you want to demolish it for something else, like, I'm not going to fight you on every single old building, but there's been some beautiful architecture that despite age is in fantastic condition, some of which have, you know, even had earthquake updates, you know, all that stuff, and they'll still demolish it because you'll find one of these really quaint, beautiful, like 1890s homes. That's a small house sitting on a big property. You can buy that house on the cheap, or kind of on the cheap, tear it down and put like 4 things in its place. Couple blocks down, just passed through 92nd and Holgate. We got Lents Park over here, and there's still the memorial there for, oh God, of course, what I need to remember, it escapes me. I forget his first name. I know Delgado was his last name. And about a month ago, he was gunned down. I would use the phrase murdered by the police. I try to give them all the understanding they could of the scenario, but when it came out that Mr. Delgado had a prop gun on him that had like the orange barrel, that was where that kind of waned. I mean, I had probably an almost identical gun to that. I bought an airsoft like handgun or whatever, to use as a prop in a movie, and it had the orange barrel. That's one of the distinguishing factors that tells you, like, this isn't like, you know, a full-on handgun. And, you know, I had to paint the barrel black so that it would look real in the film, and I ended up not using it. It's just kind of a prop I have now in case I ever need to do something with a shooting. And I don't know squat about guns, and I would know the moment I saw that orange barrel that this was, like, yeah, maybe there was pellets in there, and like, yeah, the guy's potentially dangerous, but this guy was not a lethal threat. And if someone is not posing a lethal threat to police, then they shouldn't be utilizing lethal force against that potential suspect. You know, it's unfortunate that some people, you know, whatever the circumstances are, they'll be surrounded by police and they'll pull a gun out and they force the police to shoot them. And I can be understanding. If you as a police officer, if your life is genuinely being threatened and it's either you die or you shoot someone to save yourself, I can understand that. But that was not the case in this situation, and it makes me, you know, one of the things that bothered me was why they waited so long to come out and state whether the guy actually had a gun or not. Because when they did, they admitted that the guy had something that, if I could tell right out of the gate that this was not an actual, like, full-on handgun, the police should have easily known. And they still gunned him down from a pretty long distance away. So, yeah, that's not an accident, that's negligence. And I have a video forthcoming that addresses that a little bit, but also in relation to something else more near and dear to my heart. Kind of a difficult video to make, and I kind of shot a lot of it a while ago, and it's just been sitting there. And then that event of this shooting, especially since I was walking to work just a couple blocks away, and I missed the shooting by about 5 minutes. Just brought back some memories of something else. So that video will eventually be coming out. Anyway, so that's the somber piece of this video. But on another note, it is a beautiful day. Beautiful and quiet in the park. Also another sighting of one of these old kind of restroom buildings. I know there's a building like this at like Pier Park in North Portland. They're pretty much boarded up. They're probably too old. Unreinforced masonry building. Unreinforced masonry buildings may be unsafe in the event of a major earthquake. Hopefully this doesn't do too much damage in that situation. Yeah, they're pretty much saying it's an old building and it hasn't been prepared for a quake. So if the land starts shaking, don't just sit here. Another thing with these, the sun creeping in between the trees from time to time. Glad I brought these bad boys along. Oh, that is so much nicer. Ooh, that breeze feels good. Yeah, there's like gardening going on all over the place. Little pathway, that's nice. Lents Park Nature Patch. Hell yeah. I can get behind that. So I'm gonna keep going this way till I get to 87th. Then I'm gonna take it south to Ellis. See some streets I haven't seen before. I remember rolling through here on one of those Lime scooters. I haven't used my Lime scooters in a while. I feel like there's a lot fewer of them around. And also that's a Portland thing. So I like now, like not living in the middle of the east side of Portland, I would actually have to like go north a mile just to even get into Portland to hopefully have one of those around. But I remember I picked one up and I didn't make it too far before I was down to like 1 bar battery life, like down to like 25%. And I soared through here and I somehow got like 20 minutes out of that battery, and I got all the way to like, I made it like 25 blocks further than I am right now. And even by the time I reached this area, I'd been on like barely any battery life for like 5 minutes. It's like everything else, right when you think something's gonna die on you and the battery's low, you get like infinitesimal, you get more battery life is what I'm getting at. Yeah, and it's really, because it's really open over here. There's just like a lot of grassiness. I think there's a school over here, and it's just interesting because this is all so close to where I work, but because it's a couple blocks off of this busy street or that busy street, I never go through here. And so it's like I'm walking through here now and I'm like, 10 blocks from where I work, and I feel like I'm in like a whole other place. Like I could be in another city right now. That's one of the things that really, especially as someone who unfortunately has not done a lot of traveling outside of his realm, like LA and Vegas are the furthest away I've been away from home. And so, you want to see a lot of the world. And when I walk through areas in Portland that I've never been in, even if they're very Portlandy, like I see stuff like this all the time, because I haven't seen this particular thing ever, I can almost like fantasize that like I'm in a town in Ohio or I don't know, Colorado, somewhere. Probably not Colorado. It's a little too flat for Colorado. That's the little thrill that I get out of going to a place I've never been to before, even if it's in relatively close proximity to a place that I'm at all the time. Okay, we're about to butt up against Foster. Foster Road is one of those goofy roads that goes diagonal while most other streets in this area go north, south, east, and west. It's kind of the douchebag of southeast Portland. This guy's turning, he's gonna mow me down. Don't mow me down! Thank you, he didn't mow me down. There's like half of a home. It looks like half a home collapsed, but it's just a bunch of big chunks of wood in this guy's backyard. Kind of hellhole have I walked into? This actually is kind of hellish in parts. It's a little beat down. Well, part of that is there's certain roads on the east side of Portland that just they just radiate just trash. So if you live within like a block or two of it, your neighborhood's just garbage because you're in proximity to that place. Kind of like 82nd is like that. Foster's like that too. If you live within like a block or two of Foster, you're just kind of beat up looking. Ooh, free mattress. Hell yeah. Free. It's like a old bed of like a Chevy truck with a bunch of trash in it. So yeah, Foster is right up here. And another thing about Portland is the further west you go, the nicer everything near these streets becomes. Is this free? Is this free stuff? I take this. I start like hoist up a chair, throw it on my back. I'm like, no, this is mine now. This is mine. What is with all of the seats of various types being left out here? Like, what is this? I'm very bewildered. All right, I have made it to Foster, which means I should probably at least contemplate flipping my mask back on. Because when you get to a busy street, you never know who's going to be raiding around the corner. Ain't too bad through here. I'm going for it. I'm going for it. I did it. I just cut through Foster. I was like, I'm not messing with Foster. The Earth Tortoise School. Learn about Earth and tortoises. I would take that class. I wouldn't even think about it. So, obviously I need to be keeping in mind where the trains, where the max stops are, because I will eventually need to hit a train. And I'm starting to get a little overheated, a little bit kind of like, I'm not worried about getting sunburned, I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm getting hot. Now, I just passed through Foster. The next busy street is Woodstock. They kind of mesh together over here. And that's where the Lents Foster max stop is. The next one is until Flavel, a ways up here. Like, do I want to go that far? In Flavel, I mean, that area is called Felony Flats, and it's called that for a reason. Holy Jesus. Ooh, an empty milk carton. Over my shoulder. Is that not some of the most frightening stuff you've ever seen in your life? And then there was a milk carton on the street, which reminded me yesterday there was a guy just walking down the street as I was walking to the backstop, and he was just screaming, spewing obscenities. And then this empty milk carton bounced in front of him. You know, empty milk carton's pretty loud. Dong, dong, dong. And he just suddenly turned to the milk carton because it kind of bounced by him. He just turned down and looked at the milk carton and was like, shut the fuck up! Ah! And then he just kept walking, and I was able to evade him, fortunately. So I'm gonna try. My feet are getting my ankle, oh, it's because I icy hotted. I know it's not a term, but I use it a lot. I icy hotted my ankles earlier because they were sore. And sometimes if you use icy hot, later on, after the icy part goes, it can, especially if it's a place you don't really use it that often, it can get randomly just really hot later. Like if you take a bath and the hot water hits it. So that's what it is. I'm like, why are my ankles on fire? Do I have athlete's ankle? Is that a thing? Wait a minute. Oh, okay, no, there's just moss. I thought these stairs were carpeted. It's like, who carpets outside stairs? I'm really confused right now. So I'm heading back towards 92nd, mostly just to do a pass-by of what used to be the historic epicenter of Lents, but thanks to all these apartment buildings, this place has been pretty much ripped of any historical value. Because, yeah, right up here, Woodstock hits 92nd, and like one block down, Foster hits 92nd. And it used to look nothing like this. None of this stuff was here. Not that it was like in an area that was in great shape, but it was the historical epicenter of what was once the town of Lents. And like half of the old historic buildings have been destroyed. You know, some are obviously still around, but yeah, one of the things that got demolished, well, there's two primary places that got demolished. One I don't give a shit about because it was a dangerous hellhole anyway, but the other one I'm kind of sad about. And it would have been like right up here. They're really, you know, they got these kind of modernish brick buildings with their trendy businesses, trying to cover up the fact that most of the stuff around this area is kind of a hellhole. And you guys see, you got some historic structures left, but yeah, this, now granted, there wasn't really anything here to be demolished, but across the street is where they really went to work on stuff. Don't none of you run me over, I got the walking signal. Alright, so down over here used to be the New Copper Penny, which was this rat hole bar. People would get shot there. It needed to go. Like, my mom would talk about it, about how she went there in the 80s and always thought she was going to get killed. And there's actually a woman, and God, her name escapes me, but like in the early 70s, she was at this bar, and then she left with some mystery guy and disappeared forever and was never seen again. Alma Jean Barea, I think was her name. Over there, more towards Foster, was where that was, and that was a rat hole that needed to go. But right through here was, now of course it could have been doing lousy business and was going to shut down anyway, but there used to be a building here right next to the New Copper Penny, more along 92nd and Woodstock. And it was like I think they used it for like wedding receptions. It was kind of like a gathering hall. But originally it was called the Jaeger Theater, and it was a silent movie theater. So, you know, how many silent movie theaters still exist? Not many, if any. So it's kind of a bummer that that's gone. But yeah, this whole area has been ripped of any real historic significance now, because it looks, yeah, like I took video of this area before they demolished those buildings like 4 years ago, and it looks nothing like this. There's actually oh, I forgot. Yeah, and it's right where this building is. I kind of wanted to do a video about it, but I never did. But turn back up 92nd. I'm trying to get to Flavel. What the hell? It ought to be swell. And if not, I'll go lay in Adele. Not like lay on Adele, but like Adele. You know what? Too hot for this crap. But anyway, yeah, so we're just south of 92nd and Woodstock, walking south on 92nd, and right in the vicinity of this building, there was, I can't remember if it was the murder site or if it was where the murdered guy lived, but there was some connection to this immediate location. I remember because when I was looking up details about the case, I was like, oh, that's a spot that's like right by Foster. It's not even that far from where I work. I don't remember the names of the people involved, I just remember the story details. But there was a guy whose body was found out in the Columbia River Gorge, heading up towards Larch Mountain on one of those kind of dirt service roads, you know, logging. Well, that guy just did permanent ear damage to me. But yeah, way off, like 40 miles off this way. And somebody stumbled onto the dead body of a guy. And, you know, when you find a guy's dead body out in the middle of nowhere like that, it can be a potentially difficult case to resolve. But they discovered that, oh God, I'm probably botching these details so much, but I want to say they found out that, like, the guy's wife colluded with some guy who was helping her who may have even been her lover, and they colluded together and had him killed, and they took him out there and dumped his body way out in the rurals of Columbia River Gorge. God, like, this is a random story that I looked up details on like 2 years ago. Haven't thought about it since until I came through it. I'm like, wait a minute, isn't this where? And then I saw that white kind of church building, and I was like, yes, I remember seeing that building when I checked that exact area on Google Maps. And I just never did the video. And now that I'm actually in the area, I don't remember any of the details. I want to say it happened in the early 90s. And it was probably something that Gary C. King wrote. He's like a local true crime guy that has written a lot of pieces about Oregon-based murders. He was my primary source for my Dayton Leroy Rogers documentary. And I know he wrote about a lot of random little murder cases. So I'm guessing it was probably something he wrote that I got that story from. Oh boy, I'm getting hot. I'm at 92nd and Duke. What's up, Duke? And I thought, I was about to say, screw it, I'm not going all the way to Flavel. I'm just going to turn around. And then I checked my map, and I'm like, Flavel's like, literally like 10, 12 blocks up the road. It's actually not that far. Uh-oh. We got a beautiful, oh, never mind, these are new houses. I was about to say I see a home fenced off, and I'm thinking, great, they're going to demolish this one too. But this is definitely a new home. You know, a lot of the new homes look like crap, but that's not too bad. It at least has some character, whereas most homes built in the last, 10 to 15 years have absolutely no freaking character to them at all, and it drives me nuts. Like, who wants to live in these things? You like that? I understand having like some postmodernist perspectives or minimalistic decor, but like, you move into one of these more contemporary homes that were built because you like think it's cool and trendy, you're just a jackass at that point. I'm not gonna respect you for buying an ugly ass house just because it's new. You want to get my respect? Buy an old Victorian home. You'll have my envy and maybe my friendship for life. Oh God, why am I walking down one of these busy streets that doesn't have a lot of tree coverage? I swear if I still get sunburned because of this crap, I'm never doing another therapy walk again. Which, on that subject, therapy walks, for those that are new, the first time I did this was when I was having horrible headaches. It took months to discover that it was actually dry eye that was causing it. And I had these horrible headaches, and they literally controlled me and just made my life miserable. Till, I figured out what the cause was, and then I was able to address it. And I just stayed in bed for like 2 months because I was just so miserable. I mean, I went to work, but half the time I was asking to go home from work because it's like, work is no cure for them. And it was like a tension headache. It just crushed everything, pushed down on my eyes, which makes sense because the eyes were causing it. And so I called it a therapy walk because it was like the first time that I'd really gone out and gone somewhere in like 2 months. So, and then I started doing them regularly, and it was like the only good time I had during that time was, hell yeah, brother. It was the only good time I had in my life, was going on those walks. And because when I would start walking, the, stress would alleviate a little bit. And I think it was because I was getting, some of this natural, crispy Pacific Northwest air in my eyes. And it was actually like making them less bothered. So I just continue to call on that. And the fact of the matter is, no matter how much I explore, no matter how old I get, there's that saying, humans weren't meant to stay indoors their whole life. Now, obviously, depending on who you are, people are going to have differences of opinion on that. Homebodies are going to be like, oh, screw that. But I truly believe that stuff, for myself at least. So every time I'm able to just go out and walk around, even if it's just this, like I'm just perusing a random part of the city that isn't even really that great. It's kind of dumpy in a lot of these areas. Not that I'm passing judgment. Again, I've lived in dumpy areas, so I guess that gives me the right to criticize. But in all seriousness, that's, every time I go out and vlog, it's a position of therapy because I just feel great going outside and being outside. You know, I guess I'm saying this as a guy that works at a job where a lot of the time you're indoors, you're in auditoriums that have no windows. The only time you really ever see the daylight outside is like when you're passing through the lobby. For 7 years, I lived in a basement. And then when I moved in with my girlfriend's family, I lived in a basement for like another 2.5 years. So maybe living in a basement a lot the last decade has made me crave being outside more often. God, my ankles are on fire. But yes, so anytime I can go outside. And the vlogging just makes it more fun. It gives me something to do while I'm just being outside in the world. And so, you know, even though it's not, I don't do it for the same reason that I initially did, this is still therapy for me. You know, like today I had this, you know, kind of not great day at work. I was like, I gotta get some better supports for my shoes, and like my feet and my knees were bugging me, and then it went into my back, and I'm like, I'm just having to walk around work all day feeling like stiff and sore all over. And then within 10 minutes of throwing on my good shoes with pleasant support, I'm able to go out here and just, you know, live. And I already feel like 80% better compared to when I left work. So, you know, the last, you know, 2 hours of work, I'm kind of feeling like crap. And now, here I am, and I feel pretty good. Therapeutic. And I'm already almost to Flavel. Wow. I was actually less than, I think, 12 blocks. Maybe like 8. It's kind of trashy up here, but yeah, so, you know, that's why I keep calling it this, and I've done it in spurts. That's why I'm calling them like therapy walks 2.0, therapy walks version 3.0, Rex Kwando. It's because I did them a whole bunch in the end of summer going into fall of 2019. Then I started doing them a bunch after a couple months of quarantine. So it was like almost a year later. And now, what was that? No, sorry. Oh no, it's all right. And yeah, so that was pretty much last summer and fall, and now it's like, I don't know, May, and I'm doing them again. Oh yeah, no problem. No, it's all right. It's not like I was saying anything that important. I'm just babbling at this point. This guy rolled up to me on his skateboard, asked for a cigarette, and I'm like, no. And he's like, sorry for bothering you, because, I mean, he could see that I'm vlogging, which was, you know what? He looked a little beat up. He looked like he'd been living a hard life, and he just needed a cigarette. But you know what? Most people that walk up to me and talk to me while I'm in the middle of vlogging clearly don't really even care that I'm doing something. And like, if you need to ask me something, interrupt me, that's fine. But at least, like, make a facial expression. Give me some acknowledgement that you realize that you're interrupting me. Because this isn't the most important thing in the world, but if you're going to interrupt me, don't be a douche about it. That guy, and just being like, sorry to get in your way, man, like, substantially more courteous than a lot of people that I have encounters with while I'm trying to vlog. Yeah, I'm going to get... It's one of the things, I didn't put anything on my ear here. And this ear has been taking the sun for the last like 45 minutes. So I got my face done up. I got my arms done up. I did the back of my neck. I didn't really do my legs because my legs take forever to burn. I mean, at least sunburn, not icy hot burn. But, you know, this is a new part of my life here, the ponytail. And I forget that, like, now that I'm doing that, my ears are just exposed. I mean, get a little sunburn on my ears, not the worst thing in the world, but preferably I'd like to not get any burns whatsoever. This may have been a bad idea. I'm actually gonna maybe need to ice my feet. I haven't done that since like high school, but I might have to do it. I gotta be careful here, like this. Actually, I think this just brings you out from the trail. I think I can't get through that way. Yeah, no, the trail turns out this way because there's a I think Johnson Creek runs through here, so I actually have to cross the street and go down. I'm trying to make sure I go the right route, because there is always, like, you know, there's places where homeless people gather, then they get run off, they gather, they run off, they gather. But this particular area, you know, people camp under this bridge over here. They camp off in there. They camp all along the bike trail. There's a cul-de-sac over here that there's always like a massive homeless camp. Like, there's never not homeless people here. And of course, I'm right on the fringe of Felony Flats, so yeah, so there's a creek down there, and there's almost always people living under these bridges, because, you know, it's kind of hard to access, and no one's gonna see you down there. And there's just rusted metal bars here, just to keep somebody from doing something. And I remember the last time I walked through here, there was just a woman like screaming incoherently at somebody over here. There was tents just lining the grass here. I passed like one of them, and there was a flap open, and there was just this woman's face staring out at me, and she looked a little trance-like, so it was like, oh, here's some tents. Dun, dun. Okay, I'm leaving this area. I'm leaving this area right now. But yeah, the train, Max, comes right through here. The stop's right on the other side of this building. So, really actually wasn't that far to go. I honestly thought the distance between Foster and Flavel was much greater than that. Any sketchy people? Just one person. And the bike trail continues. Yeah, there's a big encampment over there, no surprise. There's a train coming. Is it my train? I hear it come. No, of course it's the one going the other way. Son of a bitch. I'm not ending this vlog until I'm safely at least near my home. Of course, that Max shows up now. My Max isn't showing up for like 13 minutes, which means it literally just came through. Like, probably as I was coming around the corner. He crumbles to the ground. Oh, it feels nice down here, though. Sun's not hitting me, but there's a gentle breeze. So yeah, you know, I just decided, you know, I'm not gonna let this crappy workday screw me over. And I'll just, you know, I'm already getting off a half hour early. I'll walk around a little bit. I'm only gonna get home like 20-30 minutes later than I would have had I worked my whole shift. So it's not like I want to get home and rest, because I have to be back at work at 10 tomorrow again, and I haven't slept well the past 2 nights. But so, you know, I want to get home and, you know, be able to enjoy the rest of my evening before having to make myself go to sleep. But this didn't really add too much to my time away from home, so what the heck. Like that little musical interlude I just did for you? I did that special for you. It took me all of like 30 seconds of dedicated physical work. Ooh, there's that breeze. Good for the soul, but not great for the audio. It's amazing how much less ominous this all is compared to my sketchy walks home. Again, If you're not following me on my other YouTube channel, Steve from Oregon, I post a bunch of videos when I work late and have to go home, and the sometimes creepy things I encounter. It can be entertaining. Okay. So lizard people must have been here. Climbed into those little, like, why? Like, someone may have honestly, like, hid down in there. I don't know. There's a lot of random items here. Somebody had a lot of weed. And the tagging in here just kind of slowly gets a little bit more and more. I guess that was to be expected. I really haven't slept well the past couple of nights. Having to read, whoa, there goes my glasses. I forgot those were up there. Whew, here I am wincing into the light. I forget these were there all along. Anyway, yeah, having to readjust my schedule to, you know, I worked so late usually that sleep schedule I had through the quarantine, that, you know, going to bed at 5 and waking up at 1 in the afternoon stuff, I could kind of still do that. And then suddenly they were like, we're scheduling you at 10 a.m. all weekend. I was like, shit. It's getting a little easier. Hopefully by about midnight I'll be able to get to sleep and get my 8.5 hours. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just walking over the ridge. You can't see it. You still can't see it. Why is it so bright? There, thank you. Anyway, I'm just about to go over the ridge. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna make it home again. It's not exactly that. Wind, stop for like 5 seconds. I'm just trying to poetically end this. Thank you for being you, and you who support me. I bend down on one knee, but not really because my knees are hurting. And I thank thee for supporting me. There's some poetry. Because I said I wanted to have a... You know what? Let's end it. Because I'm clearly getting into a very bizarre space where you get so tired that just everything is funny to you. I think I'm getting close to that. So anyway, thank you for stopping by, coming along. Whether you're a regular or whether this is your first time here with me. If it's your first time, you're probably already running away to find somebody else's YouTube channel. Like, what the hell is with this guy? But if you're willing to stick around, if you're new, remember, as always, there's many ways you can help me in my growing channel. You can like, share, subscribe. You can hit up my Patreon. The link to that is in the description with this video. And I'm actively maintaining a schedule of posting things regularly on my Patreon, so you will be getting extra content in the form of little podcast things I do, previously unreleased content, re-releases of stuff that are no longer available on my channel, little extra explorations, just a lot of extra stuff that you cannot get to unless you become a Patreon supporter today. Even if you only give $1, you'll have access to lots of extras and you'll be helping me out. That's the most important thing, because it's all about me. That kind of sounds like that though when I put it that way. Anyway, the link to that is in the description with this video, as well as the links to my Instagram, Facebook page, and I guess now my TikTok, which I've started a TikTok. That's frightening. I'm still coming to terms with it. It's mostly just going to be goofy videos of me out. I mean, I literally just did one while I was waiting at the Flavel stop, because why not? My first video I did, all I said was like, hey, this is Steve, I have a TikTok now. That was like it. Got 200 views in the first 2 days. I wish my YouTube videos got that kind of view. And I also have created a subreddit, The Amateur Historian. That's the subreddit name, you know, pretty standard for me. So there's, you know, as time goes by, there's more and more links with my videos of extra places to go, extra things to see, so that you're never bored when you're hanging out with the Amateur Historian. I hope. Thank you so much for stopping by, going on this little trek with me, this therapy walk. Hopefully it was therapeutic for you as well, somehow, some way. And until next time, This has been Steve, the amateur historian.